Time is ticking away for Eric Bischoff, and Vince McMahon is running the clock.
Next week, you're fired.
The road to Wrestlemania continues on Raw.
After 4 weeks of build-up with the ultimatum being set up on January 13th, Eric Bischoff's future is set to be determined by Vince McMahon later tonight with boosted hype for the show over the week, coming hours after the shocking news on the passing of Curt Hennig in a Florida hotel room Monday morning, with him the latest drug-related death in the industry, adding to the growing list of high-profile names in recent years, with Hennig one of the top and most recognizable characters in the business as Mr. Perfect over the past 15 years, with major runs in both WWF and WCW during peak periods for both companies, opening Raw after acknowledging Hennig's passing with a recap video package on Eric's time running out, with him confirming that he's yet to officially sign Steve Austin for No Way Out, blaming Jim Ross for not getting the deal done and sabotaging negotiations on purpose to lead to JR bringing up Eric not seeing Austin as a main event player and firing him from WCW in 1995 as a possible reason for him not accepting the offer, playing off their legit backstory as part of the angle, saying that Austin deserved to be fired while setting up an ultimatum himself, with JR fired from Raw unless he gets Austin to sign the deal until the end of the night. Despite the boosted hype opening Raw at the recent average with 4.3 million viewers, with the first hour on the night similarly to SmackDown facing stiff competition from a Michael Jackson interview last Thursday, facing a heavily hyped Joe Millionaire episode from 8 to 9 p.m. drawing over 24 million viewers, and with the company using the Austin Bischoff history as part of the build-up in their on-screen feud. The foundation for the backstory was set up for the first time for TV viewers on Confidential last Saturday, with a cover story detailing Eric's firing of Austin and what led up to it, seeing Eric explaining the issue as Austin becoming difficult to work with after being turned down for suggesting a Hogan and Austin tag team partnership, with Hogan already set for a Ric Flair title feud months prior to signing with the company, followed by Austin getting a series of consecutive injuries that kept him off the full-time schedule that eventually led to his firing, with Austin meanwhile making his first major televised appearance since the walkout in June of last year, with him all over ESPN studios on Thursday doing several interviews across the network's TV, radio and website platforms while filming a SportsCenter commercial, with host Dan Patrick hitting him with a chair shot to the back, with Raw gradually climbing throughout the hour to 4.6 million viewers by 9:30 p.m. with a two-match quarter of Test vs. Christian and Booker vs. Brown, along with the background angle of JR trying to get Austin on the phone. As the company's strategy of running more overseas tours to offset any potential domestic drop set to accelerate over the next year, with more overseas events for both brands than ever before. The first tour of 2003 saw the business model working as planned, with a company press release on Monday noting Raw's recent tour of Japan and South Korea doing strong business, with over 30,000 people attending the shows and more than $4 million in revenue generated through tickets and merchandise sales, driving the international market to have a bigger share of the company business than ever before, with 27 events in total across 5 continents planned for 2003 overall, combined with the international pay-per-view business expanding by the month, with Raw closing the first hour drawing right at the recent average at 4.5 million viewers, with Kane and Van Dam vs. 3-Minute Warning in a tag match going 4 minutes, with the top promoted segment of the night coming up next. Vince McMahon arrived to the Staples Center at 9:54 p.m. surprised seeing JR on the phone in the parking lot instead of the commentary table, with boosted promotion heading into Monday night for the payoff of the 30-day ultimatum, and especially since the worrying drop of 1 million viewers last Monday, looking to kickstart momentum back, with Vince heading into No Way Out giving the Bischoff job evaluation verdict, calling Eric and Morley to the ring seconds from 10 p.m., starting with Morley to give him another attempt with a chance to save his job by booking him against all three Dudleys in a match coming up next, sending Morley off to leave Bischoff and McMahon in the ring alone for the 30-day payoff, who at one point was rumored to lead to a Wrestlemania match between them as the backup option if a deal with Hogan couldn't be reached in time. Seeing the segment picking up a big throughout after the routine first hour with Raw after a 3.5 average rating spike into a 4.3 rating within minutes, with Eric bringing back HLA to Vince in an attempt to keep his job, ending up with Vince questioning Eric on Austin signing for No Way Out, with Eric admitting to still not officially sign the contract, setting up the big moment after a month of hype with Vince firing Eric before singing the goodbye song to send him off, with Raw hitting over 5.6 million viewers for the 10 p.m. quarter in and over 1.3 million viewers gained during the hour, with Vince right after the break not closing the segment for the night but setting it up as the start of the build to the reveal of the new general manager in the next hour. Minutes after one of the biggest audiences to watch Raw in months, the Vince announcement of hyping the reveal of the new general manager in another segment coming up looked to have a rare impact on the usual second-hour viewing pattern during the final 45 minutes, with the following quarter featuring the Dudleys vs. Morley handicap match with Morley's job on the line, along with Dreamer vs. Batista in a quick squash, with Evolution and Steiner coming out for the post-match brawl, breaking the usual 10:15 p.m. slide to maintain the entire nearly 6-month high viewership at a 4.3 rating and over 5.6 million viewers for the full half hour, and with the latest Triple H injury taking him out of the ring until the Steiner title match at the pay-per-view on February 23. The Raw Weekend House shows, similarly to last week's changes of the company bringing in Team Angle to replace him at the Garden on short notice, seeing the Raw main events originally advertised as Hunter vs. Booker in front of his hometown crowd in Houston on Friday followed by Fresno the next night, being switched to Booker and Steiner vs. Batista Friday and Saturday, with Hunter and Flair still making appearances on the shows to announce his injury, with Raw's entire second hour driven by a major increase both in viewers per home and total viewership, driven by the McMahon-Bischoff J.R. Austin general manager reveal angle throughout the hour, holding up strong even during the show's usual downtime to result in a huge peak of the boom period-like hour-to-hour viewership spike not seen in years, with the 10 to 11:06 p.m. hour in the joint most watched hour of Raw since the final build-up to SummerSlam on August 19, totaling over 5.6 million viewers, resulting in a 1.1 million viewers increase over the first to make it the biggest viewership gain from hour-to-hour on a Raw broadcast since July 2001. As a result, also seeing the show going back to what was not long ago was taken for granted as a formality, with the second hour for the first time in months ending up the most watched show of the week on cable television, both in total viewers and in the key 18 to 49 demographic, opening the final quarter with Jericho vs. Hardy going 11 minutes just before the hyped McMahon reveal segment coming up. On the way to announce the new general manager before the final commercial break, Vince meeting Evolution on the way out of the Staples Center set up the TV main event with Hunter and Batista against Steiner and Booker for next Monday, returning to the ring 3 minutes from the top of the hour after managing to sustain interest throughout the entire hour for the reveal in a viewing pattern rarely seen on Raw in recent months, looking to close it big with JR coming out with Eric right behind him seconds from the Vince announcement confirming to him that Austin is gonna show up at the pay-per-view, in the process saving Eric's job with Vince reinstating him on the spot, with Vince just as the show crossed over 11 p.m. suggesting bringing back a special idea that over a year ago ended up being a massive drawing concept by telling Eric to join the McMahon Kiss My Ass Club to save his job, ending up with Eric refusing and Vince instead booking him to face Steve Austin in an official match at No Way Out, to a massive reaction, closing Raw after the huge hour-to-hour viewership spike with a routine first hour while dragging the overall audience down, still totaling 5.1 million viewers, with another major jump for the overrun hitting over 6.3 million viewers in the most watched segment on Raw in over 6 months. Two minutes after Raw went off the air and before the crowd could leave the building, the glass broke for the first time in 8 months, with the Staples Center exploding for Steve Austin making a surprise appearance in his official return to the company, after already returning to the public eye over the week in his ESPN coverage, giving the LA crowd in the major venue a post-show bonus without giving away his televised return saved for the No Way Out pay-per-view, making it Austin's first confrontation with Bischoff since being fired over the phone from WCW over 7 years earlier, before returning as if the public walkout dispute never happened straight into his usual post-show comedy routine with Jericho as the heel opposition, sending off the crowd with stunners and beers, including with the man who arranged his comeback with McMahon and JR on the way to the final build-up to his return match next Monday.